There are many ideas as to how the universe was first created. Most would have heard of the Big Bang Theory, which is said to have spawned all life as we know it, whilst others subscribe to a more religious idea, such as God creating the world in 6 days, according to Christianity. I suppose it may be a question we will never truly quite answer, but it has been asked many times nonetheless, and has been supplied with a many colourful variety of answers. In this video, we'll be looking at Bumba, the creator god of the Kuba people, a people belonging to a kingdom in the pre-colonial times of Central Africa. Sometimes referred to as the god of vomit because of the method in which he is said to have created the world. Bumba, or Mbombo as he is sometimes known, is featured in both religion and mythology of the Kuba people. In the mythology, Bumba is referred to as a giant, ambiguous form of white colour that sat in the darkness of the void that was the universe, long before anything had ever been created. Bumba was described as being terribly lonely, with no one to talk to, and with nothing to really keep his mind occupied. Whether or not he had been there for eternity, or had actually been born from some other being or power, is not noted, but for the most part it's understood that Bumba was indeed the very first essence of anything, according to the information that's available to us. But one day, Bumba wasn't feeling so well. He began to suffer from terrible pain in his stomach, and without warning, he would suddenly vomit up the sun. But that wasn't all. He would go on to throw up the stars and the moon, inadvertently propelling them from his mouth at an appropriate distance from one another. He would go on to throw up the earth itself, a ball of water which basked in the heat and light from the sun and found companionship with that of the nearby moon. The sun would evaporate some of the water in order to form the clouds, and after a time, dry land began to emerge here and there. The moon would resonate with the waters, its gravitational pull helping to function the coming and going of the otherwise relentless tides. All in all, our perfect world was formed with a night and day cycle and the elements that go with it. But Bumba still had a lot to get off his chest, or out of his stomach, should I say. He vomited again, only this time he puked up 9 animals, including 2 leopards, an eagle, a crocodile, a fish, a tortoise, a white heron, a scarab beetle, and a goat. It was these animals that would coincide with the elements and work to establish an ecosystem which we all know today. Finally, Bumba puked up man, including a notable man known as Lokoyima. But it was not necessarily man who had any significance at this point. You see, it was the animals who were considered Bumba's direct descendants, the children of the gods, if you will. The heron, for example, was named Nyanyi Bumba, and it would create all other birds, except for the kite, which was later created by Chendi Bumba, Bumba's third human son. Meanwhile, the crocodile known as Ganda Bumba would create snakes and other reptiles. The goat known as Budi would create all of the horned animals, while the fish, known as Yobumba, created, well, all the other fish. It was only during this time did Bumba's actual human sons begin to add their mark to the world. The firstborn, named Enyonye Ngana, vomited white ants as his contribution to the world, but there appear to have been some complications as he died shortly after. The ants, however, would honour their creator and chose to dig deep into the soil in an attempt to bury him. By doing so, they were able to bring soil from the centre of the world and upturn the otherwise barren sand surface, making it fertile for crops. The second son, Chonganda, created the first plants, which would see to the birth of many trees and flowers. Finally, the third son, Chendi Bumba, who appears to be the least impressive of the 3 brothers, was able to complete the species of birds by creating the kite. It seems a little anticlimactic, but I suppose the creation of ants and the creation of plants is pretty tough to follow. Still, Chendi was pretty proud of himself, and I suppose that's all that matters. Bumba is noted to have some difficulty with a particular creation, one known as Setse Bumba. She was said to have been one of his 9 animal creations, and that she was known for her chaotic nature, and a destructive need to set things on fire. Because of this, Bumba was said to chase her away into the sky. In another rendition of this, Bumba would actually order each of his 9 animal creations to bear witness to an act of terrible taboo. But out of all the animals, Setse was the only one who refused. Because of her defiance, Bumba cast her away from Earth, where she found refuge in the sky. It's said that Bumba still allows her to make the occasional visit to Earth, however, though in the form of lightning, which she does willingly, if only to bring fire to the world once more. Unknown to her though, as her visits to Earth are said to be few and far between, Bumba would teach the future humans how to produce fire using trees, making her far less special when she did choose to strike. Once there was a general sense of peace on Earth, Bumba decided he would leave it up to mankind to do with as they pleased. He receded into the heavens, leaving one of his first human creations, Lokoyima, to rule in his stead as God upon Earth. The symbolism behind this tale is quite interesting. It does more than just provide an idea as to how the universe began, but goes on to show that no man, even a god, is an island, and that even the gods are able to experience loneliness. While the supposed creation of the universe was not of Bumba's own volition, but more so as a result of his illness, he was still pleased that he finally had someone or something to interact with. Furthermore, the tale also serves to remind us that we all have the capacity to become creators. Whether as a god, an animal, or a human, all of Bumba's creations were able to create something that the other was not able to. It almost lends to the idea that everyone is special in their own way, and that no one person is the same. Additionally, the tale also suggests that creationism and evolution go hand in hand. We know that Bumba created the 9 base animals, which in itself is a clear resemblance of creationism, but then the 9 animals produce even more animals on their own accord, some of which are significantly different to themselves, thus suggesting evolution. I suppose you might say that this tale also has a more insidious plot point to it, in the sense that when Bumba leaves Earth, he chooses not to leave it to the 9 animals in which he seemed to favour, but instead to man in the form of Lokoyima. When Bumba leaves the Earth, he leaves it as a peaceful land, but I wonder what he would think, if he was real, of how things are now, having entrusted his creation to us, only to see what we've done with it. If you enjoyed this video and would like to continue to see more from African gods, do let me know. Feel free to also subscribe to the channel if you'd like to keep notified about upcoming videos, and don't forget to give today's video a thumbs up. Let me know in the comments below what you thought about Bumba, the god of vomit and creation, and whether you can draw out any analogies between the tale and the world we live in today. Until the next time, guys.